All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're jumping into the incredible story of India's car market because it's really a tale of two powerful trends that are putting the country on the global automotive map like never before. Okay, let's just kick things off with a massive number because it tells you so much of the story. For the very first time, India is on track to export over 1 million cars in a single year. That's not just a big deal, it's a historic milestone, and it really shows you a major shift is happening in the industry. But here's the thing, that's only half of it. You see, this whole boom is being powered by what you could call a dual engine of growth. You've got this record-breaking surge on the world stage, and at the same time, a super robust and resilient market right at home. It's this fascinating two-sided success story. All right, so first up, let's take a look under the hood, so to speak, at what's powering sales right at home in India. So this slide right here gives us some really crucial context. Now, yeah, you might see that dip from last month and think, what's going on? But that's totally normal. That's just the cool down from the absolute peak of the October festive season. What you really need to look at is the year-on-year growth, a massive 22% increase. That tells you the underlying demand is still incredibly healthy. So what's keeping the showroom so busy? Well, it's really a perfect storm of factors. You've got this lingering demand still carrying over from the big festival period. Then there are some recent GST cuts that are making cars just a bit more affordable. Plus, it's the winter wedding season, which always boosts purchases. And on top of all that, manufacturers are just keeping up a really strong pace of production. They're getting cars out the door. And when you ask, what are Indians actually buying? Well, the answer is crystal clear. It's overwhelming. A staggering 67%. Two-thirds of all passenger vehicles sold in November were utility vehicles. SUVs. The preference couldn't be clearer, and like we'll see in a minute, this trend isn't just a local thing. Okay, so that's the domestic engine. Now let's shift gears and look at the second engine firing up this growth story. A truly record year for exports. I mean, just look at that climb. It's incredible. We're talking about going from under 430,000 cars back in 2020 to now a projection of over 1 million. This isn't just some small recovery from the pandemic. This is an explosive new phase of growth. The numbers are just jumping off the chart. And to put that into perspective, 2025 isn't just a good year, it is a record-shattering one. We're talking about smashing the previous all-time high that was set way back in 2017. This tells us that something fundamental, something deep, has changed in India's auto industry. So the big question is, who's actually behind this incredible export growth? Well, this is where the story gets really interesting. It's all about the new champions of Made in India. If you looked at this a few years ago, American giants like Ford and General Motors were the big players. They were using their Indian plants as these huge export hubs. So when they packed up and left the country, you might have expected exports to just crater, right? But instead, something amazing happened. A whole new set of champions. We're talking Maruti Suzuki, Kia, and the Skoda Volkswagen Group. They didn't just fill the gap. They stepped in and soared right past all the old records. Right, and analysts have a term for this. They call it a structural shift. And that doesn't just mean one company is doing well. It means the entire foundation of India's export market has been rebuilt from the ground up. Think of it like a city skyline, An old, iconic skyscraper gets dismantled. But in its place, 3 new, more modern towers go up. And suddenly, the whole skyline is way more impressive. The departure of that old guard didn't create a void. It created a massive opportunity. And leading the charge in this new era is Maruti Suzuki. As their CEO, Hisashi Takeuchi, points out, this isn't some happy accident. This is the result of years and years of investment in world-class production lines, in quality control that can meet the super rigorous standards of the world's most demanding markets, including, by the way, Japan itself. And he's not just talking, they're backing it up with action. You've got compact SUVs like the Fronx and the Jimny being shipped to Japan. The Jimny alone, it's already crossed 100,000 export units to countries all over the world. And get this, in a really landmark move, Maruti Suzuki is exporting its very first electric vehicle to Europe, even before they've launched it in India. That is a huge vote of confidence in their manufacturing. And remember what we said about what people are buying in India? Well, that global appetite for SUVs is a massive driver of this export success too. It's not just one or two models, it's a whole range of made in India SUVs from all sorts of manufacturers: Hyundai, Kia, Nissan, Honda, VW. All of them are finding happy homes on roads all across the globe. So let's bring it all together. We've got this strong domestic market and this record-breaking export story. What's next on the road? What does all this mean for India's place in the auto world? Right, because this dual success, it's about so much more than just good sales numbers for a single year. It's really a signal of something much, much bigger happening. What we're really witnessing here is the emergence of a truly mature, resilient, and globally competitive manufacturing base. This is an industry that's proven it can cater to the very specific demands of Indian consumers, while at the exact same time meeting the super high-quality standards of international markets. It's the best of both worlds. And that brings us to our final big question. With Maruti's first EV already heading to Europe, you can see the pieces falling into place. With this proven manufacturing prowess, this ability to build world-class cars, could Made in India become a dominant force not just in the cars of today, but in the electric future of tomorrow? Now that's something to think about.